Well, hey everybody. Welcome to the update preview stream. This is Bugs here. I'm joined today by Miss D and Artemis. Say hi, guys.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys.
So, we are over here on the aux 2 branch, and we're going to be showing off what is going on with this world update body of work. There are some huge changes going on to procedural map generation, some new monuments, a bunch of new map features, and a bunch of cool stuff coming for the October update. And as always, we're going to go through what you can expect. As always, you can kind of follow along on rustified.com. My article today does kind of summarize in text and pictures the main focal points of changes for this update. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to do at @MissD_, that's me, in chat. And we will get to as many questions as we have the opportunity to. Real quick, what's going on with server wipes today? Well, for Rustafied servers, it is the weekly Thursday wipe servers wiping, and they are wiping at their regular scheduled time for the region, which is 3 p.m. local time. That means AU and SCA wiped like 11, 12 hours ago. EU servers wiped 3 hours ago, and the US servers will wipe at 3 p.m. Eastern, so in just 2 hours. Also, I do want to share the Uterust charity event is going live today in an hour. And it's a great cause supporting breast cancer research. It's being run by the Ladies of Rust, and Becca something, and all those people are doing an amazing job. And so I definitely recommend you check them out. We're going to raid them at the end of this stream if I can remember to do that. And Misty, thanks for your help remembering that.
You're welcome.
And yeah, and check it out. And here's the link to donate. I'm going to put it in chat real quick. Boom. Oh, we put it at the
I
same time.
beat you.
Nice. No, on my screen, I beat you. I don't know. No, I don't. Anyway, but cool. Definitely, it's an awesome cause. They're doing an awesome event, and we definitely want to check them out. Also, is Twitch Rivals still going on, or did that end?
I think it ended.
Yeah, I think it ended. Well, hopefully you checked out Twitch Rivals too, but we'll see.
I think there's still drops though.
Okay, good. Cool. So yeah, still some drops going on as well, and definitely get those drizzly drops. But yeah, anyway, we are over on the aux 2 branch, and there is a bunch to show off. This is basically the biggest changes to procedural map generation we've seen in years. They have added much bigger rivers that go throughout the landscape and get bigger as you get closer to the water. There's oases or oasi. I still don't know the plural of that. There's canyons, there's lakes, there's new cliffs, and the return potentially of God Rocks and Anvil Rocks. There's the Toxic Village, that legacy Radtown monument. There's updates to diving sites and new buoys. There's legacy wood piles. There's improvements to the water wells. And we even have the Frontier Hazmat skin to give a sneak peek of, and that's the DLC likely coming with the October update. So first and foremost, we've got rivers. And we're over here, as I said, on aux 2. It is open for everyone to check out. So if you want, you can go to your Steam library. And how you get to aux 2 is you go to the Rust staging client, you right click, go to properties, go to the betas tab, and then just select the aux 2 option from the select dropdown. And then it'll just run an update. It might be a big one, and then you can load up the game and join. Facepunch has some official aux 2 servers, world update servers running, and some other people are running them too. So you can check this out if you want, run around and see for yourself what these new updates have in store. But yeah, we're over here, and it looks like all this is going live for the October update. I think that's October 3rd. So in just several weeks, we'll have, yeah, the biggest changes to procedural map generation we've seen in years. So starting with the rivers, basically, these are big guys. These are big rivers, and they start kind of up in the topology. Some start closer on mountains or hills. Not all of them do, but they start kind of skinny. And then as you go down closer to the shoreline, they get progressively wider and wider. And by the shoreline, they're pretty wide. And it looks like there's about 3 rivers that are spawning per map. And this was the case. We're on a 6K map just to be able to show everything off. But even on a 4500 map, it still looked like there were 3 rivers. So it looks like there's about 3 of these big rivers that are spawning per map. And yeah, they start off thin and get wider. And what's really cool is they have a current to them as well. So if you hop on a kayak or a boogie board, you start flying down these things. Like you pick up some pretty good steam in the kayak and boogie board and can kind of work your way down, with the exception of when you hit a road or a railroad track, those kind of just raise up above the river and the river just kind of goes underneath it. And you as a player cannot go underneath it. The water just kind of disappears into a rock and then comes out the other side the of whatever the crossing is. So if you are like flying down in a kayak or a boogie board, you're going to have to account for those things. But it is a cool new way to get around the map in kind of an expedited pace. And yeah, they're freshwater rivers. I think I haven't tried too much fishing in there, so I'm not sure if you're going to be finding fish there. But there's also some improvements to the, various foliage and stuff like that that we're seeing. And there are some nice pumpkins and stuff spawning next to the riverbeds and everything like that. But yeah, these are actual like big legit rivers for the first time on procedural maps. Like we've had small rivers before and like little kind of tributary things, but this is like a legit right home about river. So
It looks so good, the water, and like so realistic.
yeah, and they got some distance to them, man. They go like a good majority of the map. And so, yeah, really cool addition. Add some nice contrast, as with all this stuff, really add some nice contrast to procedural map generation and is a really welcome addition. So that's the rivers. Now, we also, when you're heading over to the desert biome, there are new oases. And I'm going to stick with oases. I think that's the plural for oasis, is oases. And basically, there's 3 variants of the oases, and there's an A, B, and a C. And these are marked on the map. So when you look at the map, they are labeled as such, and you can see what variant you're going to. And this is exactly what you would think would be. It's just a body of fresh water in the desert biome. And it's an opportunity to maybe get some fish, get some fresh water, and a lot of trees and foliage is spawning around it, and even some barrels. So it's a good place to gather wood if you're in the desert biome, or seek some cover from, you know, other players and stuff like that, because there's a lot of bushes to hide in. And yeah, you can get a drink of fresh water if you are in the desert and parched. And again, it looks like there's 3 of these spawning on each map, and each one is a little different. There's the A, B, and C variant. And I also do want to take this opportunity to say, given this is still on aux 2 and still in development, everything is subject to change. So take all this with kind of a grain of salt. It might change, or we might see, more variants or less variants by the time we get to the October update. But this is just based on what we're seeing on aux 2 now. We've got these nice oases, and it kind of mixes up the hubbub of the desert biome a little bit and gives you an opportunity to get some water and resources, and maybe even some hiding spots. And then next on the list, we have canyons have been added. Now, it looks like the canyons are mainly right in the forest biome and maybe sometimes on the edge of the desert and forest. So, but it looks like that's based on the couple map seeds that I've tested. Oh, actually, I'm saying that now, and there's a canyon in the desert. So it looks like desert or forest is where these are going to spawn. I've yet to see a snow canyon, but maybe it's possible, just less likely. But yeah, there's two variants of the canyons. And it looks like, even on the map, even though it's in the desert, it does kind of look like the canyon is more of a forest biome vibe. But anyway, these are exactly also what you would think they would be. They're big divots in the topology of the map. And they do also feature some of the new cliff faces, which we'll get to in a moment. But yeah, there's kind of an entrance spot. There's two entrance spots on each side where the terrain is just goes down a little more gradular, gradually. Yeah, pardon me. I've got like vicious fatigue and brain fog this week, so pardon if I skip over some of my words or mess up some of my words. My brain is feels like it's working at like 50% capacity. It's kind of frustrating, but I'm just being with it. But anyway, yeah. So we've got these nice big canyons. There's an A and a B variant, and the one is a bit bigger than the other. And you can get down on either side of them. But also, I was testing it out. A lot of places in the middle, you can kind of shimmy up the steeper ends as well. And it looks like there's a good amount of rock nodes and various different like nodes spawning in the canyon. So I'm not sure if they turned up the spawn rate of nodes in those canyons, but it kind of looks like it, right? Like I'm seeing a lot of rock nodes in there.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
and I guess that would make sense too. Like a canyon's going to have more rocks normally, I suppose. So, but there are some trees in them, but most of the trees are limited to the edges of the canyon, the higher edges of the canyons. But you can actually build in here. So building isn't blocked. So if you want a canyon base, then you soon in October will be able to do just that. You can build up on the canyon walls. There are some limitations, of course, depending on the grade of the topology and everything like that. But building is not blocked in these guys. So you can go down there and have a nice little base at the base of the canyon. And yeah, they're looking really cool. And just another thing that adds a nice level of contrast to the maps, something we haven't seen before. And overall, the layout of the procedural maps is much more variant now, given these additions and everything. So it's just that much more interesting, that much more contrastual. And yeah, again, there's just an A and a B canyon. So those two variants you'll see. Is it the A one that's bigger or the B one that's I think it's the A one that's
Let's have
bigger.
a look.
Oh, did that say Canyon C?
There you
On the map, I'm wondering, was that labeled as Canyon C? Oh,
go.
it is labeled
C.
as
Yeah,
Canyon
yeah.
C.
Yeah, it
That's a
is.
new one. Okay, so there's three variants. I'll have to fix that on the thing. That this is a fresh map wipe on Aux 2 that I just did before the stream because they had done some updates. And on my previous versions that I spawned in, I was only seeing an A and a B, but there's actually a C variant as well, which is cool. And now not every canyon is going to be on each map based on
No,
what
unless
I've
I'm
been seeing.
blind, can't see A on this one.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
was just thinking, Bugs?
yeah, what's that?
This map gives me happy vibes.
Oh, yeah, it does kind of have some Happus vibes, doesn't it? And yeah, along with that, and speaking of kind of Happus vibes, there is that mountain in the middle now. Now, I'm not sure how big a map seed will have to be to have this mountain, but it is kind of that throwback. Remember that mountain that would like separate the middle of the map a little bit and you could see from far out? It looks like a version of that is making a comeback. It might not be as big as the OG one, but we are seeing a nice big mountain in the middle as well. And and yeah, just really cool, like really nice kind of shifts and changes to the overall landscape of Rust here. They really are doing a huge overhaul to procedural map generation. And I'm really digging what I'm seeing. How about what do you guys think? Are you guys liking what you're seeing so far?
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like it too, and it's not so predictable. And there's a lot of more What is it? Hiding spots and PvP spots.
Yeah, it
I think.
seems like it. And yeah, and with that, as we look at the mountain, we can get a kind of taste of some of these new cliff faces as well. And that was another kind of facet of this body of work where they took the cliff faces that existed and they redid a ton of them. And it looks like all of them are kind of redone. It looks like they have a little more detail and a little more variation as well. And there's the cliff faces for all the different biomes. So there's the desert, the forest, and the snow cliff faces. And I was testing jumping up them, and they do seem to have some good points to be able to jump up and climb up. And so overall, it might, and I like say this with a grain of salt, but it might be easier to climb up a lot of the cliff faces with the addition of these new cliffs because they did really, I think, put a lot of thought into the layout of the cliffs and how they're put on the map and everything like that with the player and with climbing in mind. So it is really cool to see these new variations of cliffs. And along with that, we're seeing a lot of new rock formations as well, along with some throwbacks to previous rock formations that were taken out. And so along the shoreline, we're seeing a lot of these darker rocks kind of sticking out of the shore and might be some cool opportunities for base builds out right on the shoreline that weren't possible before. Because, yeah, as we go along the shore, we're seeing a lot more kind of rock formations and everything kind of just sticking out and really adding some variation to the shoreline as well. And then based on a commit earlier this week, there is the addition or the throwback to the God and Anvil rocks. It looks like they're coming back. Now, I wasn't able to find any yet on this map. I'm not sure if they've been merged in yet or if they're still coming in, but based on the commits, they are recreating the Anvil and God rocks, which people loved building on and in. And so I think that's a really welcome addition too, that the devs are listening to kind of the overall feedback of the player base and responding to it in kind. And also, yeah, just to say again, I love the look of these cliffs. They just look more interesting, they look more dynamic, more contrastual, more detailed, and really just a nice addition to the game and a nice addition to procedural map generation here. Now, also, we have lakes have been added as well. And these are kind of like similar to the oases, but a bit bigger. And they are spawning generally in the forest biome from what I've seen. And I was only seeing two types of lakes, but now on this one, we're seeing a sea as well. So it looks like there's three variants of lakes as well, which is cool. And these, as you would guess, they're freshwater. I believe there's some fish in them. And yeah, it's just another source of fresh water. Occasionally, there's even a rowboat that spawns next to them. So you could take a rowboat out onto the lake. It's not like that super big, but and depending on the variant, they vary in size a little bit. But it is just a cool new addition to the map as well. And they get moderately deep, but yeah, you could definitely come the October update, have some lakeside bases going on and just more variation on the map in general and more opportunities to get fresh water and fish. And then, yeah, we also have the addition of the Toxic Village, which during development was that Radtown Redux monument that you might have heard about. And it's actually in the game now. It's on Aux 2 and it is labeled Toxic Village as opposed to, you know, Radtown Redux, which I think makes sense. Toxic Village is kind of more Rust vibes and it's not so meta like talking about legacy and everything like that. But you can see here it is just labeled Radtown and it is bifurcated by a road, so it kind of sits on a road and there's a number of different like outbuildings. It's surrounded by a stone wall. And it's kind of a normal tier 2 monument. There's no puzzles. There is a recycler in there. The recycler's back in one of the buildings on the first floor. and there's some good loot opportunities. And I haven't seen any NPC scientists spawning here. And are you getting any radiation here?
Yeah, there is some radiation.
There is some
Yeah,
radiation.
not a
Cool.
huge amount, but it was ticking at about 2 red at the highest point.
Okay, nice. So yeah, and that would make sense, right? It's toxic village. I would imagine we're going to see some radiation. Now, the interesting thing as well in the realm of radiation that we're seeing is it looks like the addition of radioactive water with this whole body of work as well. And the radioactive water is an interesting one because based on the commits, and we're not quite seeing it enabled yet in the game, I don't believe, but I do believe it is coming with this update. And we can see some places where you probably would find it because there are some kind of greenish puddles of water in here
We've
that
actually filled a
definitely.
couple of containers now with irradiated water.
Oh, is it in there? Cool. I wasn't able to do
Yeah.
that yesterday. So awesome. So the radioactive water is in there. And yeah, based on the commits, what we're seeing with the radioactive water is that it will contaminate any freshwater sources that it gets, added to. It will also, if you get sprayed with it, you'll get doused with radiation. So it's a new fun thing you can do to people. If you want to irradiate them, you can do so with a little squirt gun full of radiated water. And also, it will apparently kill plants as well. So if you want to troll your neighbor's farm, you can fill up some irradiated water
Oh no, not
and
the farm.
you can kill their plants. You can hit their outside water barrels and contaminate their whole water
Oh man,
supply with irradiated water.
that's toxic.
It literally, yeah. and and yeah, if you drink it, you're going to get irradiated. If it gets splashed on you, you'll get a little rad poisoning. And it looks like that will be found primarily at the Toxic Village, but we might see some sources of irradiated water added to other monuments. It would make sense if there's a monument with radiation that it might have some toxic water, some irradiated water on it or in it. So that's an interesting new addition, kind of a small but potentially impactful one to the game, included with the addition of this Toxic Village. And yeah, we can see they did a really nice job with this. This is a kind of, again, a throwback to the days of Legacy, where we had the rad towns near the road and everything like that. It kind of has that Legacy rad town vibe for sure, but also is really updated with some nice new like set dressings and different things. And again, there are some loot opportunities here. It's not a uh, really high tier monument for sure. It's more like tier two kind of loot from what we're seeing. But and again, there is a recycler. I think it's in this building right here, back right there. Yeah. And so that is another addition. And you can see this on the map. It's just again labeled Toxic Village, and it looks like one of these is spawning per map. And the other interesting thing is it looks like they are making it so that the traveling vendor and Bradley for end of wipe, when Bradley spawn around the map, it looks like both of those will be able to travel the road through the toxic village and actually kind of make their way through this monument as well. So the devs do appear to be accounting for that, and you can kind of see where they might be able to skirt through. Like the road is a little blocked, but it looks like there are some points where they could potentially skirt through. And yeah, just another cool new addition coming with this world update. Now, next we have the diving sites and buoys. So there's these new buoys that you'll see floating out in the water. They're not marked on the map, so you're going to have to just kind of come across them when you're out in a rowboat or a rib just doing your water farming. There's still the floating junk piles and everything like that, but then there are the occasional buoy. And when you see a buoy, that's a sign that there is a dive site underneath. And so we've got these dive sites underneath, which are pretty cool looking. There's some new details like crabs and skeletons and starfish crawling around down there. And there's the loot that you can kind of cut free where you dive down and you can free it and then it floats up to the top and then you can loot it once it's on the top. We're getting some scraps, some high quality metal, some components and things like that in the various loot that I tested on these. But again, they're basically signaled by these new buoys that you'll see floating out and around. And yeah, not the easiest thing in the world to find, but once you find them, it yeah, might be worth the dive down to free that loot underneath and then have it float up and get it because there's some nice loot there and just adding more opportunities and more possibilities for looting and exploration underwater, which is cool. And it looks like they're still working on the DPV, that diver propulsion vehicle. And my hunch is that the DPV is going to come with this update as well. Originally, a couple months ago, it almost made its way in. It looked like the DPV was going to make its way in, and then they pulled it a couple days before the forced wipe and update. And now we've seen more work being done on it in the commits, and nice, we got a buoy here, and yeah, and it looks like my hunch is that the DPV is going to come in with this update as well. And what that does is it's a single person diver propulsion vehicle. You kind of put it on the water and mount it like a boogie board, and then it runs on low grade fuel and it can propel you either on top or below the water. I don't think it's an Ox 2 quite yet, but it does look, based on what we're seeing, like it'll be merged in pretty soon. The other thing I realized you can do, Artemis, which you might want to, is if you go to F1 and you go to tools, you can toggle off the water layer. And it might be easier to see
Oh
for
yeah, you
people to
can
see the details of the, updated dive sites and everything like that. But yeah, and it looks like there's a number of these dive sites around. I think like we're seeing with the lakes and the oases and the canyons, I think there are 3 variants that we're seeing, but it looks like there's a number of them that are spawning around the map. And yeah, there's some shipping containers hiding down there, and just again, some loot that you can kind of untie, and then it floats up to the top, and then you can loot it. And yeah, some cool new just elements down there, like the starfish and the crabs crawling around, and some skeletons. And yeah, they did a nice job with this, and it's looking cool. So just
I
more
just saw in
activities
chat.
underwater.
Sorry, I just saw in chat that he said, "Can you give Skeeto to spawn and fix cars to fill it with fuel?" I
I'm sorry, what was the first part of that question?
he he says, "Is it in AUX too?" And I give Skeeto to spawn and fix cars.
Oh, Ski-Doo. Okay, cool.
Skidoo
Oh, nice. Thank you, man.
and
Yeah.
fill it with fuel.
So repeat that. Sorry. What do you
So
want
I
to
think
do?
you do
No,
give Ski-Doo, Skidoo. Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that. And then you can put it down and do fix cars to get it to fill.
Oh, very nice.
Nice, good find, guy in chat. Appreciate you. So yeah, we can show that off a little bit as well. And yeah, again, that DPV kind of, you put it on the water, similar to like a boogie board, and then it does propel you. Let's see how fast it's going now. It was going pretty darn fast.
Oh, one word, isn't it? Fixel.
Fix cars, yeah, one word. Or is it fix all cars or just fix cars?
No, fix
FIX, I
cars. He's right.
think.
Yeah. Yep. Too shallow there. Hang on.
Yeah, I guess you got to be a little bit farther out. And yeah, this is more evidence that the DPV will be coming in October. And yeah, yeah, I like what they've done with it. It's a nice display right there.
I
And
just
yeah,
had
the
some
whole
asking,
look of it
how
has
do you get
changed.
in
Yeah, and you just kind of mount it. Once you place it down in the water, you just kind of mount it like you would a boogie board. It looks like they kind of took that same functionality from the boogie board. And yeah, it allows you to zip through the water and you should be able to dive down and stuff as well. And this would be, yeah, coupled with a diving tank and stuff like this would be a great stealth way to, you know, explore underwater, get to the underwater labs and the oil rigs. And yeah, it looks like you're moving at a pretty nice click there.
Can you put it down underwater or just on the first furnace furnace hotspot surface?
Yeah, it just kind of floats up to the top, which makes sense. But yeah, no word on exactly what that's going to cost or how that will be obtained. It's kind of like half in the game now based on what we're seeing. And they're still working on a bunch of things with it. So definitely take this part with a grain of salt as far as like how fast it's going and all that stuff because it is all subject to change. But that's great. The DPV looks like it's coming in with this October update as well, which makes a lot of sense. We've got the extra things to explore offshore and underwater, and now we've got a cool new vehicle to do it in style and speed.
Are we ready for some questions or are you
Well, just three other things actually. There's a bunch
okay?
coming in here. Yeah, is
Yeah.
the I went through the dive sites and buoys. Then we also have the legacy wood piles, and this is kind of another kind of homage or throwback to legacy, where it has just that classic looking wood pile. It's a bunch of logs like kind of piled up, and they are wood like monsters. You get 1,000 wood from them in like a couple hits. There's no mini game on it or anything like that, so there's no like having to hit it at a certain area or anything. But you take a hatchet to it, and in a couple of hits, you've got 1,000 wood. Now I don't know if this is going to go live as such, or if they're going to tweak it. But you can see it's not only that throwback to legacy, but it's a great new source of wood if you're looking for it because yeah, it's pretty easy to just chop those wood piles up. And what I was seeing the other day, unless they've changed it, was you end up with 1,000 wood after just smacking it several times. And yeah, just a really good source of wood. Boom, look at that, 1,000 wood. So, and yeah, and someone's saying about 500 with a rock. So still decent if it's early game and all you have is a rock. You find one of these wood piles, man, and you'll have a good
It's
amount of wood
almost a
in no
little
time.
shit shack.
It's tools
Yeah,
done.
but that's cool, and that's another kind of addition to the map and another homage to the Days of Legacy. Then also there's the water wells, which are improved as well. What they've done is to the water wells, they're not marked on the map, so they can be kind of hard to find. But there's a new NPC shopkeeper that's selling farming equipment and teas and various lower tier weapons and stuff like that. And then on top of that, and he's like inside the water well. If you walk up to it and go inside, he's just standing up there on like the second floor. And then on top of that, there's a planter bed that's been added that's growing a bunch of food. So you got some resources for food, along with being able to get some water and everything like that. So just an improvement to these water well monuments or points of interest, I should say. And yeah, another NPC vendor for your shopping needs. And then finally, yeah, we've got the Frontier Hazmat skin as well. And this is something that is coming in the DLC. And I believe the Frontier Hazmat DLC is going to go live with the October update. That's what all kind of commits and signs are pointing to. And the hazmat skin itself is actually on Ox 2 at the moment. And I gotta say, it looks awesome. I love this thing. I love the details. I love the hanging like uh, like animal skins and stuff, and just looks badass. Looks really cool. I love the art direction they took with this, and I think it's going to be a really attractive DLC for people to buy. Now, like other hazmat DLCs, it is coming with a couple other items. It looks like there's going to be a high caliber rifle skin. And it also, if you remember the Blunderbuster being worked on, originally I was thinking that might be a new weapon to the game entirely, but now it looks like that's actually going to be a skin for the double barrel shotgun that's coming in the Frontier Hazmat DLC as well. And then on top of that, it looks like there's even a high wall skin that might be coming in, a Frontier high wall that might also be part of the DLC. So it looks like this DLC, and there's also a Frontier hatchet and maybe a Frontier pick. I'm not sure about the pick, but I did see some commits around a Frontier hatchet. So it looks like basically there's going to be a bunch of cool items, Frontier vibe coming in with this DLC. And it does look like, again, that DLC is likely going live with the October update as well. Now, also, they're doing a bunch of fixes. This is something that we see most months. It's just various fixes for NREs and different little IO things that weren't working right and some floating point errors. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of each one, but if you are that type of person who likes to know the specifics, feel free to go to rustified.com. My article today, if you scroll down towards the bottom, you can see all the different fixes that we've seen in the commits in the past week. And that's always nice to see them doing miscellaneous little fixes and everything for the game. And then there's also just a bunch of other stuff being worked on as well. Let's see as I scroll down. It's a long article today, man. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff coming in. But anyway, there's initial work on wallpaper skins for floors. So it looks like that wallpaper, there'll be variants of it that you can put on floors. So you'll be able to reskin your floors soon. I don't know if that's going to be added to the wallpaper DLC or if it's going to be like a floor DLC that comes in or if they're just going to give people it. But we are seeing initial work on some wallpaper skins for floors. We're seeing a bunch of work as well on the wolf behavioral changes. This is like the AI changes to how wolves and wolf packs behave. They're going to be much more dynamic. They're going to be reacting to campfires. They're going to be eating other animal meat that they find. They're going to be working together to surround groups of people, and they'll howl to call their friends over and then attack as a group. So you can like scare off a wolf with your torch, but then it will go back and howl and gather a group of wolves together, a wolf pack, so to speak, and then like circle around you to attack you. And even this week, we're seeing wolves can now jump onto player foundations to attack. So that's a new one that has been a dynamic of the game for years that is shifting with that. So no word on when these wolf AI and behavior changes are coming in. I don't know if it's going to be for October. It seems like the October update is already a huge update, so I'm not sure how much other stuff they're going to put into it. We're not seeing that wolf behavior on Ox 2 yet, so or on normal staging, so we're not able to show it off quite yet. But it is some definite interesting dynamic changes to how wolves are behaving, and I get the sense it's part of a larger body of work where they're going to be redoing a lot of animal behavior and a lot of the animal AI. And it looks like they're starting with the wolves and then probably moving on from there. But we'll keep you posted on that and have a full write up and show as soon as that is merged into staging, whenever that might be. I'm guessing, again, probably not October, but maybe November, December, we'll see that. They're doing various improvements to underwater visibility. There's also more work on the blowpipe weapon. So this is going to be a new kind of low tier weapon where you can blow darts at people. And it looks like they're even playing with some poison tip darts where it will either obscure someone's vision or slow them down in movement wise. So that's cool to see some more work on that blowpipe. They closed some collision gaps on the back of armored passenger modules. That's kind of just a fix. We're also seeing some initial work on a tier 1 SMG weapon. So it looks like there's going to be a lower tier SMG coming into the game sometime soon ish. There's also more work on shields. We saw shields get worked on the other month, and then we didn't see much activity with it, but we are now seeing shields be worked on again. So it looks like the shields are coming in. If you missed it when they were first being worked on, shields were only able to be used with certain weapons like pistols and swords and things like that. The idea being that you could have a shield in one hand and then a pistol in the other, and then you could kind of use it to block. And the damage that the shield took would go towards taking down the durability of the shield. And then also, when a shield wasn't equipped, it would be on your back and it would kind of protect your back. So that's definitely going to be an interesting defensive item that's coming in the game some point in the near future. We're seeing more work on Jungle Ruins, which is not only a new monument, but might even represent a kind of new mini biome on procedural map generation. I don't think this is going to make it in for the October update, as a lot of times these monuments, and especially if it's a new biome, is going to take a while to get in and ready to go. But that is an exciting one because not only is it potentially a new biome and a new monument and new loot opportunities, but it looks like it's being baked in with the addition of some new animals, snakes and crocodiles. So that's some interesting stuff on the horizon. I I get the sense that might not be in until early next year. I could be wrong, but we'll keep you posted as we see continued commits and things get merged into staging. A small thing, they increased the wallpaper spray can use distance from 3 to 5 meters. So you can just kind of, I don't know if you've been playing with these wallpapers at all, but sometimes you'd be standing where you think you could skin it, but then you got to get a little closer. So that's a nice addition. They've added 2 meters to that radius so you can spray from a little farther out. As I mentioned before with the Toxic Village, they made it so the traveling vendor and Bradley can drive through the Toxic Village. So they'll be interacting with that and moving through that with ease. And I also mentioned as you're looking around, you're going to see tweaks and improvements to various foliage around the map. That's another thing with this world update. There's just some improved and new modified foliage that we're going to see. They also improved the rain visuals a little bit. So I don't know if we want to do weather.load, like I think it's just rain or storm,
Yeah.
but we could see some improvements to the weather. They also, with this world update, have done some improvements to like the sunsets and the clouds and the transition from daytime to nighttime and everything. So, really, just a lot of awesome changes visually and functionally to the map and the gameplay itself. They did tweak the scientist spawn distances, so that's just going to change a little bit about where the blue scientists are spawning around the junk piles around the maps and at certain monuments. They did also add some random colors for viewing teams on using ESP Canvas. That's like an admin thing and kind of like a screencasting thing for events like rivals and things like that. But it's just going to show the different teams in their own color so that you can see what team is part of what team when viewing from above and kind of like watching an event. And that's a nice addition. They added, this was last week, but a kill all players server convar, which will kill any human player who are not in God mode on the server. That is one, if you're a server admin, you definitely don't want to accidentally type in because you're going to have a really upset server. And thankfully, we have not done that yet, but I'm knocking on wood because as soon as I saw that get added, I'm like, oh shit, you know that's going to happen one day. There's also the repair bench UI now shows required ingredients as icons instead of just text. And they're working on Halloween content. That's another thing coming probably mid month next October is the Halloween event that goes live for the last 2 weeks of October. Generally speaking, we've seen this for several years running. There's various candy bags and different things like that. And normally there's some Halloween centric skins. And so this year looks like it's no different. It looks like there's going to be a Frankenstein mask and a mummy mask being worked on. Those will likely be available for purchase on the item store probably a little over a month from now. And then finally, they changed the car flipped threshold. It's now around 80 degrees instead of 90 degrees. So a car is going to count as flipped just a little bit earlier. And then, yeah, just again, I want to inform everyone of the Uterus Ladies charity stream, which is going live today through the 15th. And they're joining, or they say, join us in the fight against breast cancer. They're raising funds for Breast Cancer Research Foundation, an awesome cause. And here at Rustafied, we did donate a bunch of platinum VIPs that they're going to be giving away, and a bunch of other server owners did donate VIPs as well. They got a bunch of awesome prizes and physical goods. They have some limited edition merch, the proceeds of which is going to this amazing cause as well. And it's popping off. You can see the Tiltify link in the chat. Thank you, Dee, for posting that.
You're
And yeah,
welcome.
it's just an awesome event running for a couple days. They're going to be having a good time building a village and doing some gameplay and just giving away a ton of prizes and all raising funds for this amazing cause. So definitely go check it out and give if you can. And yeah, big shout out to the ladies at Eurust for putting this event on again and raising funds for an awesome cause. And then also, speaking of, we've got just a month from today is Charitable Rust going live. And so our yearly charity event is popping off October 12th. And this year we're raising funds for Direct Relief, which is an amazing organization. We supported them years ago, and it felt appropriate to support them again this year because what they do is bring aid to conflict zones around the world. And unfortunately, given all the conflict that seems to be popping off around the world, it seemed like a good organization to support. And so that's going to be October 12th. We've got item store skins, the proceeds of which are going towards this amazing cause. We're also going to have Twitch drops. A big shout out to all the skin creators who participated in the skin contest. It was really hard to choose which ones are going to make it in because we had a bunch of great, awesome, submissions in that. We are whittling that down. I was just on the line with Facepunch earlier today to kind of whittle that down. We've got a couple changes to do, and then we should be having those skins be announced sometime in the next couple weeks. And we're also going to have a trailer for the event. It's going to be on a 2x custom map server. It's the Synecdoche map, but we've done a bunch of changes this year. So we're worked in. We've got a bunch of parkour. We've got some awesome races that are going through the map itself, and the talent show and the art contest, those staples are going to be in as well. And it's all just an awesome time, accelerated 2x vanilla gameplay, all raising funds for this awesome cause. And again, that's going to be Saturday, October 12th, 11 a.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. It's a 12-hour live stream event, all raising funds for this. So mark your calendars, and we're going to have some more information and shout outs about that in the coming weeks. But in the meantime, just mark your calendar and plan on being around, if only to get the awesome skins that are dropping and everything like that. And yeah, now finally we have some time for a couple questions.
Yeah, we do have some. Um, how can I see the updates in game before the update?
That is where the Rust staging branch comes into play, my friend. So over on your Steam library, you should see Rust, and then you should see the staging, Rust staging. And the normal staging branch doesn't have this world update stuff in it quite yet. This is actually on the aux 2 branch. And so to get access to the aux 2 branch, you just have to, in your Steam library, right click on Rust staging, go to properties, go to the betas tab, and then in that beta select dropdown, select aux 2. When you close out of that, it'll uh, queue an update, run that update, and then when you join in, you'll be able to see the aux 2 world update servers, and you'll be able to hop in and run around and see all these changes for yourself in person.
Someone asked how much wood you get from the legacy wood with tools. So I just tested all of them. So the rug is 8 hits and give you 581 wood. The stone hatchet is 935 wood and 7 hits. The salvage is 4 hits and 1162 wood. And the
Woo!
normal hatchet, the middle hatchet, is 1k wood and 6 hit.
Yeah. So
Yep.
those legacy wood piles are sweet sources of wood, and we're seeing a good amount of them around the map too. They don't seem super rare.
No, they're pretty close to each other as well.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see here. Can you put underwater Oh, I think I and I asked that already. Give me a sec. Is the rat town in the snow too, or can it spawn there?
I have yet
I
to
think the
see it
toxic.
spawn in the snow, the toxic village, but
Yeah.
it might be able to. I'll have to, what I'm going to do this week as well is just redo the server a couple times, trying different seeds out. Because already I realized like I missed one canyon variant. I had spawned probably 3 or 4 maps and I only saw 2 canyon variants, but just in this map we just spawned before, we found the third one. And so I want to do some tests and get some more clarity on where things are spawning. And I also hadn't seen a canyon spawn in the desert yet, but then just on this map, it is in the desert. So it looks like some things are more common than other things as far as where they're spawning and what variants are spawning. But it's all to say there's definitely a lot more testing to be done, and I'm going to be doing that this week to have a broader, view of what to expect. But yeah, I love the desert canyon too. The desert canyon looks awesome.
And next question, I was wondering the same actually. Can you guys ride a horse over the new rock formation? I'm sure it's gonna get stuck non-stop.
Well, there's a bunch of different rock formations, so it's hard to tell, which ones. Maybe some of them you can, but yeah, I wouldn't count on it. Traditionally, horses aren't that great at riding over things, so I don't think this is going to be significantly better necessarily.
Would be fun if they made it so like when you press space, you jump, you know?
Yeah, yeah, a horse jump would be cool.
Yeah. Any news about the jungle biome?
Yeah, that's still in the process. We've got the Jungle Ruins Monument being worked on, and this isn't confirmed yet, but I have heard some rumors that along with the Jungle Ruins biome is going to be kind of Jungle Ruins Monument, I should say, is going to be a jungle biome, which will have snakes and crocodiles and stuff like that. I'm not sure if maybe it'll be kind of like a mini biome or if it'll just be roughly the size of the other biomes and the other biomes will get a little bit smaller. But that is a number of months away from the looks of it. Just given these monuments are made from scratch, they're bespoke, and especially a jungle biome is going to have a whole bunch of new art assets that haven't been in the game before. And so I do think that we're probably not going to see the jungle ruins and or the jungle biome until early next year at the earliest. I did see a question about the canyons. Can you build in the canyons? Yes, you can build in
Yeah.
these canyons. So if you want a canyon base, you will be able to do that come October.
That was my next question, Box.
Beat you to it.
No, it was on the list.
Oh, and tigers too. Yeah, there was some talk of tigers
And
as
snake.
well, and snakes and crocodiles and bears. Oh my! Oh wait, bears are already in the game. But yeah, new PV animals coming in, which is always exciting.
Here. How do you get the frontier suit?
The Frontier suit is going to be, it's a hazmat skin that's going to be available via a DLC, the Frontier Hazmat DLC, which looks like it's going to go live for the October update, although nothing's totally confirmed yet. That is what it's looking like. And so it's going to be like the other hazmat DLCs we've seen in the past, where not only do you get a hazmat skin, but you also get some other item skins like some tools. It looks like there's going to be the Blunderbuster is going to be a skin of the double barrel shotgun and not a new weapon. And there's a high caliber revolver, which I'm not sure if that's just going to be a skin of the revolver or something different. And it also even looks like with this Frontier Hazmat DLC, there might even be a high wall skin, a Frontier high wall skin, which would be really cool as well. And yeah, again, it looks like all that's coming in for the October update, likely the DLC going live with the October update.
Mm, can the Skido be picked up barehanded with hammer or not at all?
Yeah, good question.
Last
Originally, we
time
were
I
able to pick up, but
that's it. Let me check again.
Yeah, I remember back when it was on staging the other month, I believe it was pick upable. So I think that will be the case again.
Yeah, you
Well,
could
let's check real
last
quick.
time. I think I was it just holding E on it or something? I think.
Because, yeah, it makes
Uh,
sense if you can deploy it in water that you'd be able to pick it up again, right?
yeah. Will they be increasing or decreasing the aggression from the chickens with the animal AI changes?
No word yet on the chickens. Basically, with the AI changes, we're seeing just the wolves be worked on. And with the wolves, I'd say it looks like they're going to be more aggressive. Like they're working together in a pack, they're spawning in packs more. They're able to go actually retreat if you catch one alone and you scare them with a torch, which can be done now. Then they're going to retreat and howl and call for their friends. And even this week, we saw the addition of they're able to jump up on foundations now as well and get you on a foundation. And so that all seems like more aggression to me. And if they follow suit with the other animal AI changes, then I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see more chicken aggression, more bear aggression, and the like, kind of making the PvE elements of the game a bit more challenging. And yeah, I think that. Ooh, I saw like pickup for a hot second there. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's it. I'm trying to work out. I think it's when you're directly above it, but it won't let me do it when I'm no clipping. So
Yeah, so interesting. The jury is still out on this DPV as far as functionality is concerned. The jury's in as far as if it's cool or not. It's definitely a cool new vehicle, but it is still a work in progress kind of uh, whip status. And so with that,
there's definitely a
I
point
think
where you
there's some things.
can, but it's finding it.
Yeah, yeah, you see that option show up for like a second, but good luck getting it. But again, I think this is just more fundamental of it's a work in progress and not
Yeah.
representative of the final state of the object.
Mm. Is there going to be any performance updates?
Well, performance is an interesting thing. They're always kind of working on performance, and it is this ebb and flow thing where some months it's better than others. We did see server performance go downhill the other month, and then with this month, I'd say it's slightly better because we did see some optimizations to server performance and everything. I have heard people worry about with the new world update stuff and all these additions if that's going to equate to worse FPS on the client side. And to that, I can't really speak to yet. I've I'm not noticing any changes on my computer, but also my computer doesn't really struggle with FPS, and so it can be hard to tell when the machine is just powerful. So I'd like to think though that it's not really going to have a drastic impact to FPS because when you really think about it, it's just kind of more of the same as far as what the computer's rendering. I don't think it's necessarily going to be that much more taxing on the client side. It's just different, if that makes sense. And so the other thing with optimization and performance is, as I said, it's something that they tend to work on little bits and pieces each month. We haven't seen a whole month dedicated to just optimization in some time. I'm not saying that that wouldn't be a welcome thing, but it is always in the background of what the devs are working on. And it's rare that we go a month where we don't see some form of optimization or performance increase either on the client end or the server end. That said, of course, just like the hacking situation, there's more work to be done. There's always more work and room for improvement with optimizations, both on the client side and the server side. But at this point, from a server owner perspective, it's better than last month. Although we are still seeing memory leaks, especially on longer wipe, larger servers like our Long 3. And we, on the systems end, have had to do various different remediations and things like that to account and kind of counteract these memory leaks. And I do hope there's some resolution around that. But we have seen improvements to things like server crashes and things like that. We're seeing less server crashes. And it looks like on our EU main, we were able to get 700 people in there running pretty smooth, but at times we've been able to get 800, 900 in there running smooth, and that seems to be pushing the limits of performance now. So it's an ebb and flow thing, but it's it has gotten slightly better in the past couple weeks based on what I've seen.
Is there any news about the SKS rifle? I came across one in a random server.
Yeah, that's like sort of in the game and been in the game for a little while, but not like actually added to normal gameplay. And I don't know what the story with that is. Originally, it was going to be a skin of the semi-auto rifle that was going to be added retroactively to one of the Hazmat DLCs that came out like the other year. And then they reverted that, and we haven't seen it get added. I heard a rumor that they said it wasn't really fitting for the vibe of the game, and so it might not be added. But to that, I say, like, what is fitting to the vibe of this game? We've got a whole slew of different weapons from the Oka to the minigun. I mean, I don't see why the SKS wouldn't fit in there if the other things do. But it's all to say, I don't really know with the SKS what's going on with it. I'm keeping my eyes peeled for it to either get added in a DLC or for it to just to be a new standalone weapon. But so far, we haven't really seen much movement on it in the past several weeks.
Wait, okay, so this guy's saying maybe show the new food catches boxes in Waterwheel. They spawn teas as well.
Oh yeah, that is a cool addition and thing to mention. I don't know if we want to go back to the Waterwell real quick and show that little food cache because yeah, you're right. That is a new cool addition that they added there.
Sure,
Mm.
yep. Where is the cache exactly? Have you guys found it?
That's a good question.
No worries.
Will the new rat town spawn in snow or desert?
I think desert and forest I've seen so far. Mostly I'm seeing it in the forest. I have yet to see it in the snow, but as I mentioned before, I will make sure to go back and just wipe the map and do a couple different seeds to see the different variations because there are a lot of different variations. And yeah, there's the food cache. Nice.
Um, what is the purpose of the radiated water?
Basically, to fuck up your neighbor's farm, and to then when they come out to yell at you, grab your water gun and spray them in the face with radiated water and give them rad poisoning. Yeah, and also if you come across some other people's, outside water cachers, you can put radiated water in there and just ruin their water supply. It's basically a nice toxic addition to the game.
Yeah. Let me see here. Would you think in the future they would make some sort of monument to build in like the old bus stop so that the base building can change?
I don't know. I think it's possible, but I wouldn't put it in the likely category because they did get rid of the bus stop bases due to the, OP-ness of them, and we're
Say
pretty
what?
yeah, but we're pretty consistent in not being able to build around monuments, and I don't think that's going to change really.
Let's do a recap.
Yeah, let's do a quick recap, and we're going over time here because it's a big amount of stuff that is on this world update preview. And if you're just tuning in, make sure to check out the Uterust charity event that's going live now and raising funds for breast cancer uh, research and all that good stuff. And shout out to the ladies of Uterust for putting on such an awesome event. And we're happy to support by we're donating and giving some platinum VIPs to give away for Rustafied. So a lot of cool prizes and things to check out over the next couple of days. So definitely check them out. But yeah, as a recap here, we're over on Aux 2. Aux 2 is available for everyone to play. So if you go to your Steam library, Rust Staging, right click Properties, go to the Betas tab, you can select Aux 2, update your client, and then join a server which has this new world update stuff in it. But to run through basically what we're seeing, we've got rivers that are really big. They go over a good portion of the map and they start off kind of as skinny little guys. and then get wider as you get towards the shore. And they even have, along with fish and stuff like that, they have a current. So if you're in a kayak, you can actually go down the river pretty fast at a good click, and you can do the same in a boogie board as well, apparently, which is cool. We also have oases. There's three variants of oases. They, as you would expect, spawn in the desert biome. They have fresh water. They have some lush foliage and trees, and yeah, it's just a good place to get some fresh water when you're over in the desert biome and might be parched, and also some good hiding places and good sources of wood as well, as the trees are spawning right around there. There's also canyons. It looks like there's three variants of canyons as well. I got that wrong in my article. I need to update my article, but I had yet to see the C variant of the canyon. But sure enough, there is a C variant. And so three variants of the canyons. They're looking awesome. They're big, divots into the ground as canyons tend to be. You can build in them. There's plenty of rock nodes, and the legacy wood piles also seem to be around there. And they also feature some of the new cliff faces, which are a addition as well to this world update body of work. And yeah, just a cool new feature of the map. And you can enter basically on either side has less topology change, and it's easier to enter. But you can also, in some places, climb up the sides as well. And yeah, you can build a canyon base, and again, great source of nodes down there from what we're seeing as well. There's also lakes. There's three variants of lakes as well, and these are spawning in mostly the forest biome based on what we're seeing, and they're a source of fresh water and fish and some foliage. Occasionally you'll see a rowboat spawn around them, so if you want to grab a rowboat and go out on the lake and fish until someone starts inevitably taking pop shots off at you, but you can do that. And yeah, again, just good source of water. You can have a lakeside base come the October update, which is awesome. As I mentioned, there's new cliffs and there's also new rock formations, including, it looks like, the addition or the comeback of God and Anvil rocks. This, we're not seeing any on the current map, and that's either we just didn't find them or they're not quite merged in yet on the Aux 2 branch. But based on commits, it looks like God and Anvil rocks are going to be coming back for your base building needs. And on top of it, we've got a bunch of new cliff faces in all different of the biomes, and they look more detailed, they look more dynamic. There's some new opportunities for climbing up them and everything like that. There's also these cool new rocks kind of jetting out into the water, and it's just making the whole shoreline look more interesting and cool. And so, yeah, really great job on the cliff faces and rocks. I just think they look awesome. There's also the Toxic Village, which was during development labeled as the Legacy Radtown or Radtown Redux, I think. And now that it's on the map, it's labeled as Toxic Village. It is a tier 2-ish monument that's bifurcated by a road. It's got a stone wall around it, and it's got various different outbuildings with loot. It has a recycler. It is a source of some radiation and the source of the new radiated water in the game. And that you can fill up. It will it will contaminate other water sources if you put radiated water into a freshwater source. It will contaminate that. It will kill plants if you spray plants with radiated water, and it will irradiate your foes if you spray them with the irradiated water. So, cool new addition to the game, and another little thing coming with this world update. There's also dive sites and new buoys. And so there's buoys. They're not marked on the map, but if you find one in the water, that is indicative of a dive site below where you can dive down. And they've added a bunch of cool like different art elements. There's like crabs and stuff walking around down there, and some starfish that look cool. And then there's that loot that you can untie and then it floats up to the surface, and you can get some pretty decent loot out there. So do keep an eye out for those buoys and the updated dive sites. There's legacy wood piles also all around the map, and these are a wood pile that does give a throwback to the legacy vibes, and it's a source of a lot of wood. With a metal hatchet, you get 1,000 wood. With a rock, you get just over 500. With the salvage hatchet, you get like 1,100 something. It looks like so, and it's just a small number of hits. There's no mini game or anything like that. It's just like a couple whacks, and then you've got a whole crap load of wood in your inventory. So definitely a nice addition. As with all this stuff, it is subject to change, so take it all with a grain of salt. But right now, you can see it's just a couple whacks, and then you got like a boatload of wood, which is cool. As we just saw before, there's the new updated water wells as well. Water wells as well. It's got an NPC shopkeeper in there who's selling some goodies and farming gear and the like. There's the food cache as well, which even has some teas in there, and you can get water. And there's a planter box as well that's growing food. So these are kind of they're not marked on the map, but if you find one, it's a great source of some food and water and just refilling some of those fundamental basic needs in the game. There's also the Frontier Hazmat skin, which is on Aux 2 and does kind of give a good sign that we're going to see the Frontier Hazmat DLC go live with the October update. This is not only going to include the Frontier Hazmat skin, but a couple other item skins, including maybe even a high wall skin. Looks like a high caliber revolver. It looks like that blunderbuster that we saw being worked on. It's not a new weapon. It's actually a skin to the double barrel shotgun based on what we're hearing that will be also part of this DLC. And yeah, just some cool stuff. And I love the look of this Frontier Hazmat skin. Definitely did an awesome job with the art of this and the style of that. It just looks badass. And yeah, I expect that to go live as a DLC with the October update, subject to change. They're doing a bunch of fixes. They're doing more work on the wolf behavior. They can jump onto player foundations to attack now, along with a whole bunch of other stuff. I don't think the wolf behavior stuff is coming in for October, but we'll keep you posted. They're doing initial work on wallpaper skins for the floor. So just like you can have the wallpapers on the soft side of walls as of the most recent update, you'll soon be able to have some skins for the floors as well, which is cool. They're doing a bunch of other things like working on the blowpipe weapon. They're with maybe some poisonous darts that obscure vision or slow people down. There's initial work on a tier 1 submachine gun weapon, so we might have a lower tier SMG coming in. There's more work on the DPV. It looks like that diver propulsion vehicle is coming in with the October update. There's more work on shields, which is going to be that new defensive object. They increased the wallpaper spray can use distance from 3 to 5 meters, so you can use that spray can a little bit farther out. And a bunch of improvements to various visuals like rain visuals and sunset also coming in this world update, which are cool. And we're seeing some initial work on the Halloween 2024 content as well. It looks like there's going to be a Frankenstein mask and a mummy mask. And so, yeah, the team is really rocking and rolling. It looks like the October update is going to be the biggest update in quite some time. Definitely, I'd say the biggest update of the year and the biggest changes to procedural map generation that we've seen in years. And so far, based on what we're seeing on Aux 2, it looks freaking awesome. So, definitely, I encourage you to hop on the Aux 2 branch, test it out. If you see any bugs or glitches, definitely F7 and report that to the developers, as they are still working on all of this and looking to iron out any glitches or bugs prior to it going live in the October update. But based on what we're seeing, yes, all of this is going to go live with the October 3rd update and forced wipe, and going to be an awesome, huge change to the game. And that about does it.
Wanna do some more questions?
Yeah, let's do a final question or two, and then I want to wind this puppy down and raid the Uterust event because that is up and going now, and I want to support them.
How deep is the rivers
Uh,
and
not
lakes?
super deep. The lakes are definitely deeper, I'd say. But as you get farther down in the river gets wider and deeper. So the closer it is to the shoreline, the wider and deeper it is.
Yeah, I think the majority of like up to your knees or your stomach, and then on the edges towards roads and the sea and stuff, it's get really deep. And then I noticed just now walking in the water, when you see like the stream is going, like the stream of water, it makes you slow. Like you can kind of see that the water is moving and it's kind of
Yeah.
take your body slow.
Yeah,
Like,
good
yeah,
call. So along with, making the kayak and boogie board go faster down the current, it does make your body like have to work harder against it.
yeah. Remember to rate? Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
thank you for that raid reminder. And can we show that new Hazy suit again real quick? Someone missed it.
For sure, yep.
And how do we play AUX2 as someone is asking again?
So yeah, just go to your Steam library, go to Rust Staging, right click and go to properties. And can we reposition the sun there so we can see the details on the
Yeah,
front?
hang on, let me move.
Okay, cool. But yeah, right click and go to Rust properties from the staging branch and go to betas tab and then select the aux2 selection from the betas dropdown. And then you can update your client and you can join the aux2 servers and see all this world update stuff for yourself.
Artemis, can you really fast show the lakes as well? The depth?
Sure, yep. Give me a sec.
Thank you.
Yeah, and with the lakes, there's three variants that we're seeing of the lakes, an A, B, and a C. And they vary a bit in sizes, but they go decently deep. They've got some good fish in them, fresh water source, and could be great for just building a base, lakeside base come the October 3rd update.
Mm, and while waiting, we have also some stats coming up soon, right?
Yeah, we are working on the Rustified leaderboard and stat system. It's coming along great, and I'm really excited to see that launch later this year. And so we're going to launch it in kind of a simple fashion and then plan on building onto it over time. And yeah, pardon the delay on that. I know a lot of people have stats and we don't, but we wanted to do something unique and kind of special. And I think we're fulfilling on that objective. And I'm super excited about it. We'll have more details about that as we get closer to a launch time. But yeah, soon to come leaderboards and stats for Rustified servers.
Last question. And did he say that the old anvil rocks are coming back?
Yes, it is the word on the street. And based on commits, they are recreating the Anvil and God Rocks for this new terrain and world update. And so I haven't seen any. I really wanted to show them off on the stream, which is why I wiped the server right before the stream went live. But we're not seeing any yet on the map. But word is they are making a comeback. And so that is definitely a welcome thing. I haven't heard anyone complaining about it. Let me just put it that way. And it looks like that's going to be another feature to go with this world update body of work.
When is all this coming in, Bugs?
October 3rd is when it's looking like it's going live. It looks like October is going to be one of the biggest updates we've seen in Rust for the year at least, and the biggest updates to procedural map generation we've seen in literally years. You can get a full rundown again in pictures and text on rustified.com, and it goes through all the main new points of interest and everything like that. And we'll be back, of course, next week to show off more changes to this. We're probably going to be just showing off the world update stuff and answering questions for it for the next couple weeks until the October 3rd update. But yeah, again, October 3rd, several weeks from now, looks like it's going to be the biggest update to hit Rust in a long time, biggest change to procedural map generation. Also, probably the Frontier Hazmat DLC going live, the diver propulsion vehicle coming in, and maybe some other new stuff as well. So, really stoked about this October update. And we'll keep you posted as always as the weeks progress and we get closer and closer to that update going live.
Let's wind this puppy down.
And yeah, oh, and I see someone asking about the Halloween theme. Halloween normally doesn't come in until mid October. And so, probably the last 2 weeks of October is when we'll see Halloween content come in. We're seeing things for Halloween 2024 be worked on already, the Frankenstein mask and Mummy mask. But yeah, that doesn't go live in the beginning of October on the first Thursday. That normally waits like 2 weeks and then goes live around mid month and runs to the end of the month into November. And so that is when we expect the Halloween stuff to come. And with that, we'll wind this puppy down. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Just a reminder, we are not developers of the game. We're not on the Facepunch payroll. We are just an independent organization who loves reporting on development news and running the best servers that we can. And the only way that we can do that week after week, month after month, year after year, we've been doing this over 10 years now, is through the support of the community. So a huge thank you to everyone who tunes in and watches. A huge thank you to everyone who gives bits and subscribe on Twitch. And much love to all of you, and especially to our wonderful, loyal VIP customers. Thank you all so much, because we wouldn't be able to do what we do without the support of the community. We're going to go raid the Uterust ladies charity event going on now, supporting an awesome cause for breast cancer research. And then also mark your calendars next month, 1 month from today, actually, October 12th is going to be our charity event, our yearly charity event, Charitable Rust, supporting direct relief, and all on a custom server with awesome prizes and games and Twitch drops and skins on the item store, the proceeds of which go to this amazing cause as well. So stay tuned for more information on Charitable Rust. But in the meantime, definitely check out the Uterust event. We're going to go raid that now. Thank you, as always, to my whole team at Rustafied and to my co-MCs, Misty and Artemis. Thank you guys so much for being here, as always, with me.
You're welcome as always.
Yeah, you're always welcome.
And yeah, and with that, we're going to wind this puppy down. We'll see you all next week. In the meantime, have a wonderful week and a wonderful wipe. This is Bugs signing off, but don't go anywhere too quick, because we're going to raid Becca something for the Uterust event. And yeah, see you all later.